Today, we are continuing to provide a clear description of the 2023-24 improvement plan in response to the specific Oklahoma State Board of Education improvement goals presented on November the 30th. For this update, our specific charge and objectives look like: 1, sharing a quick update on actions taken towards 3 OSDE 2023-24 goals, and then 2, provide a comprehensive report on student mid-year literacy growth based on winter map assessment. Along with analyzing our data, this mid-year reporting also includes sharing portions of our action plan for below basic students during spring of 2024 in advance of the OSTP testing. We're starting with Goal 2, Science of Reading Professional Development, simply because we have the longest, most in-depth report to share on Goal 1. OSDE 23-24 Goal 2, all teachers and school administrators will be trained in an OSDE-approved Science of Reading SOR module, which includes counselors as well. The TPS specific target we are measuring: by May 30 of 2024, 100% of current elementary and secondary TPS teachers and school leaders will complete Science of Reading training based on active employment as of January the 2nd, 2024. So our summary of progress since January the 25th. To address this goal around developing increased expertise amongst our educators, here are the following actions that we have taken. We held our most recent round of district-wide Science of Reading trainings earlier this week. For grades K through 5, this session covered part 2 of the 95% groups training in Science of Reading, as well as modules 1 and 2 and Community of Practice 1 from the State Department of Education's resources. We will have additional teacher trainings over the next 2 months to complete all OSDE modules and Communities of Practice. Training will be on March 14th and throughout April to meet the May 31st deadline. For grades 6 through 12, teachers and school leaders completed 6 Science of Reading modules, and we've had positive teachers and school leader feedback on this training. District administrators and staff in roles that require educator certifications are also completing these trainings. So pretty much our entire education team within Tulsa Public Schools are completing the Science of Reading training. All teachers and school leaders will have time during the district PD on March the 14th, with 100% completion anticipated by March the 31st for secondary schools and district office teams. Since receiving the specific charge about Science of Reading PD on November the 30th, our teams have innovated and problem solved at a rapid pace, including finding a suitable provider for educator PD in grades 6 through 12. As you can see, some of our teams are on track to fulfill these requirements a full month before the deadline and only 4 months after this board charged us with doing so. Very proud of our team for their active work in solidifying an appropriate training for our secondary teachers. We're moving full speed ahead. Goal 3, MRI designations. 12 of the current 18 MRI designated sites will not be redesignated. So here's what that goal has us aiming for in Tulsa Public Schools. At least 12 of our 18 MRI sites will achieve the necessary points on the state report card to hit their CSI MRI exit target. We've broken that down further, and you can see here the necessary point thresholds for elementary, middle, and high school for MRI designations based on the 23-24 school report card from OSDE's accountability website. MRI designations, professional development. We have hosted 2 teacher trainings with 92 teachers and received very positive feedback. This was not an easy feat. I just want to say that what we're finding as we are working in our classrooms with our teachers is that they are asking us for more support as it relates to getting them everything that they need in order to teach our students who have varied needs and have various academic levels. So we're appreciative of our school teams for pushing into the classroom, so our district office team members and others were asked to step in to free those teachers up, be in the classroom and teach students so that our teachers can actually get even more support for teaching literacy and understanding the curriculum in which we've adopted. Here's some feedback on those PDs from our educators. Quote, seeing how a lesson in West Virginia phonics was broken down and prepared was a huge eye-opener on how I should be organizing my lessons, end quote. Quote, the biggest takeaway is seeing this in real time. The modeling of the lessons are so fantastic as I am a visual learner, end quote. We have another training happening today and 2 additional trainings with teachers in the next couple of months to continue and deepen this work. We're being strategic with our OSTP prep, prioritizing specific high-level standards and buckle down for ELA for grades 3 through 8. So just for context, buckle down information and materials are materials that teachers use in order to specifically teach skills that our students will have to master when they take the OSTP. It's 0 ends on Oklahoma State standards so that we can give our students every opportunity to be successful. We've braided it into what we call our assessment culture, and our teachers are using that materials today and every day as we get towards the test to get our students prepared. We're providing ELA instruction for vacancies with district team members. So we talked about this the last time we presented, but just to remind you that if we have any vacancies in classrooms, in our elementary classrooms, if we have substitute teachers, we are pushing in district office team members who have appropriate certifications into those classrooms so that our students have a high quality lesson so that they are properly prepared as we are heading towards April. And we're collaborating with our State Department of Education partners, the School Improvement Team, and we're also working with SDE's Heroes for Literacy to support the K-3 best practices. This is something we've previewed here in previous conversations. We now have a critical mass of educators from our central office, again, just spending the majority of their work days on the ground supporting MRI schools. You're going to hear a little bit more about this later from a colleague, with ELA vacancies amongst other high needs areas. So let me go into a little bit more depth regarding our information and our data. At least 50%, so goal 1, at least 50% of TPS students must score basic or above on the 2024 OSTP ELA assessment or increase the amount of students who score basic or above by 5% from 41% as the starting point. At TPS, this means our target is TPS will increase the percentage of students scoring basic or above on the OSTP ELA assessment from 41% in May of 2023 to at least 46% in May of 2024. So our progress since January the 25th. Based on our internal predictive assessment, we are not yet where we need to be. We need to accelerate the learning for an estimated 700 more students in order to move from below basic to basic on the spring OSTP to meet this goal. Many students are holding steady in their rate of learning. They are learning at similar rates as national peers. We need our students to learn faster in order to close the gap. We made a conscientious decision today to not bring excuses as to why we have shared this information. We have good news to share around knowing exactly where we need to go. The good news is we are implementing continuous improvement so we can tell you by the number, by the school, by the student, by the intervention that's needed, how we actually are working to move the needle for our students. We're focused on OSTP assessed standards as our North Star. We're using winter map results to target our district's focus on OSTP prep and practice questions, as I alluded to earlier. Student lists were sent to every school to help them understand progress for each student. We are monitoring intervention dosage for students, especially those who scored basic or below, each and every week. That's how we're going to move the needle for all Tulsa Public School students, not just the 700 or more, we're aiming to move above scoring basic on OSTP. So based on winter map testing, 41% of students are currently tracking towards basic or above. We are using winter map results to target district focus on OSTP prep practice questions. I'm restating this so you can see how intentional we are. And again, many students are holding steady. We want them to go beyond that. Key priorities between now and April. In terms of urgent student literacy improvement, here are our key priorities between now and April OSTP testing. We're going to continue to improve classroom instruction for all students with a particular emphasis on training, resources, coaching, and development to MRI sites. Over 53% of current below basic students are either CSI or MRI schools. We're going to leverage specific student level data from MAP and ELA assessments for school teams to monitor and track prioritized students' progress between now and the end of the year. Consistently and urgently tracking students' intervention progress to make sure more of our students are achieving weekly dosage required to achieve growth. And we're going to target instruction, continue to target instruction to support students moving mastery with the newly deployed buckle down to the Oklahoma Academic Standard resources. We're prioritizing reading strategies 2 and 3. So based on the blueprint from the State Department, strategies or standards 2 and 3 are our most heavily weighted, heavily tested areas. And so we are zeroing in on those 2 standards so that we can ensure that our students have both exposure and then also supports for how to master those standards.